thankful to be here with the Harris family. You've seen them. They sang the national anthem. They've been involved all across the country with their business keepers at home. And I am so happy to be doing this with all of you. Thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
It's so fun to do this. You know that. I mean, when you bring patriots together, you're going to have a good time, whether it's over coffee, you're having dinner together, you're doing sports together, whatever it is. But Janice, let me start with you. And thank you for being such a great example as a mom for liberty. You literally are a mother for liberty. What does being a patriot mean to you?
Well, I think I've probably usually answer it this way: just a love of country, a love of our freedom, and a love of God and our God-given rights that we've been given in this country. And I think with given lots of giving privileges, it comes with great responsibility. And so just wanting to preserve the freedoms that we have enjoyed in this very short time that we've been on earth, but that our forefathers have fought for. So I think it's just very important to try to preserve that as best as we can. So just having the freedom to raise our family, to educate our children, to go to church where we want, to worship the way we want, to run our businesses the way we want, the way our forefathers intended it. So I'm just feel like I'm a patriot in that respect, and I want to fight for it. So.
Man. Well, Janice, would you go around and introduce your daughters? And I want each of you to not only say your name, but why are you a patriot?
Sure. Absolutely. Okay. Well, I'll start with the oldest that's here. Now, some of you may know we have 10 children, but 4 of our girls sew with our business. So we have 7 daughters and 3 sons. So this is just not even half of them.
You have a battalion. You have a battalion.
Yes, pretty much. Pretty much. So this is Clara, the oldest at home and the oldest in our sewing business. So this is Clara. So I'll let you go ahead and then I'll introduce the rest.
Sure. Okay. So patriotism to me is just like what Mom said, we've been given so much. And so we do have a responsibility, and especially for this next generation, just preserving what we have. We've learned a lot in the past about 2-3 years since we've been involved in just politics in general, and just even with our business too, being free to do what we want. And I was talking to the girls yesterday, just being able to choose what kind of occupation we get to have, and we want to have. So, and I love what we do. I love sewing. I love creating. And so that's a great privilege for me, but it's also an honor, Lord, to be blessed, to live in this country and to be able to have those freedoms. So that's what it means to me. And I strive every day to learn more and more. And I want to do what we can to preserve what we have here.
Absolutely. Amen.
Yeah. So that's Clara, and then the next one is Liberty, and she's the next daughter that's sews with us.
Hard to beat the name Liberty when we're fighting.
Liberty, yes.
Why are you a patriot, Liberty?
So part of the reason I am a patriot is because I was raised in a family who is very patriotic. I'm a post 9/11 baby, so that's how I got my patriotic name. And so it just kind of comes with the territory of being raised in a Christian home that loves our country. And we've been taught to fight for what we enjoy every day. And so I want to keep that legacy going. And so, yeah, I am my dad's personal assistant. So I go with him 3 days a week to Columbia. So I'm trying to preserve our freedom in that area. So that's what it means to me.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then after Liberty is Martha. This is Martha.
So I guess a patriot being a patriot to me is just, my parents have always taught us to be producers rather than consumers. And that whole, that concept has stuck with me all my life. It's something I've heard all my life growing up. And just to not take our freedoms for granted. And like some others have already said, our forefathers fought very hard to, have freedom to begin with. And so, again, we just feel like it's our responsibility to preserve that freedom that we've been given and the Lord has blessed us with. And, to whom much is given, much is required. So we just want to make sure that we're doing our best to preserve that freedom.
Amen. Amen. I love going back to the founding fathers. I mean, that's where,
Yes.
thank God we had that example, right? Of all those in this country.
Absolutely. And then our youngest is Ruby. So this is Ruby.
So my dad says a lot of times, one second, I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, Well, Abraham just said a few days ago, he was saying it was of the people, for the people, and by the people. So we can't, have it of the people and for the people if it's not by the people. And so patriotism just means, getting involved. And okay, my dad's statement came back to me. If you're not taking action, somebody else is always on the outskirts waiting to take action. So yeah, and it's not always good that other, Democrats or whatever, other people are not true conservatives are always waiting to take action if you're not willing to. So just being able and willing to step up and take action when nobody else wants to. It's not always easy, but it's, well worth it. And if you can attain that freedom, it's, well worth it. So I'm just thankful to God that I'm here and living in this country and have parents that have taught me what patriotism means, and just to always strive to fight for it every day.
Amen. Wow, what all powerful answers. And one of the things that really gets me is the raising. A lot of people don't come from that. They've been given the opposite. They've been given God last. We say America first, America last. What about God first? So that's why, that my favorite verse, Matthew 6:33, seek him first and his righteousness, all other things will be added unto us.
Amen.
And I think a lot of people, when they have it the opposite way, we get, we reap the rewards of that. And unfortunately in our country, a lot of what you talked about there, Martha, is what's happened. The vacuum has been filled by another agenda. And that's why Charleston and Greenville, and even in South Carolina, who would have thought South Carolina would be a battleground? But even in South Carolina, there's a fight for liberty because this other agenda has been allowed to be ushered in. So Janice, let me ask you this. What great answers. I'm so glad none of you just said, because it's cool. You gave genuine, heartfelt answers. And I could see some of you were looking at each other when you were saying that. And it was like, you all believe in it. Like you're all about it together. Because
we have a lot of conversations.
And a lot of yes, you can tell. Yes. You can tell, Janice, when people are like, I guess I have to say something, and it's just not real to them, but clearly to each and every one of you. It's kind of like, I can't say, well, my dad's faith, my dad's a pastor, so I'm going to heaven.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So why did you start this awesome business? And by the way, this tie is going soon. I promise I'm getting it.
No problem.
But how did it start? Give us the story.
Okay, well, let's see. Very long time ago when my girls were little, I had a business up when we lived in Pennsylvania called Jumpers by Janice, back when my girls were little and it was just me. And I was, they were very young, underfoot, nursing babies, homeschooling, beginning in the trenches, and had a little business then. But obviously as 10 children, as the children added and we had more responsibilities with schooling, I had to give up the business for several years during those middle years of raising children. So when we moved here 13 years ago, my daughter, Emma, who's she's married, lives in Charleston. She wanted to get the sewing machine back out. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I used to sew. And I kind of forgot had been such a long time as we got busy moving and such. So we got the machine out maybe 12 years ago or so, maybe a year after we moved here, and just started getting back into just making things for fun. And we were sewing so much, we were thinking, okay, well now what do we do with this stuff that we're making? We have to get rid of it somehow. So we opened a little Etsy shop in 2013. And we had that for several years. I just closed that maybe 2 years ago because Martha likes to do photography and like photo editing and things like that, and web design. So she helped us start our own website and our own shop. So they overlapped for a little bit, and then we just weeded out the Etsy shop, and now we just have our online shop. But so we were just making skirts, linen ties. We were doing a lot of weddings, men's vests, neckties, bow ties for wedding parties and things. And then, just little linens and towels, hand towels and things like that, jewelry. And then in 2019, we were on a girls' vacation at the Outer Banks. That's how that kind of fits into our business. And we have been vacationing there for 36 years. Even when we lived in Pennsylvania, our kids have always gone to vacation there. So we were there on a girls' trip, and we just started talking about how skilled labor of any kind, construction, plumbing, sewing, of anything, is very hard to find on the island. So we just we're just chatting amongst ourselves and saying, I wonder if anybody down here needs what we do. I wonder if anybody needs uniforms or pant hems or skirt hems just done. Maybe we could help people out when we're here. So we put an ad on one Facebook page on the Outer Banks back in 2019 on that trip. Actually, we were still on the trip, and I thought, let me just put a little, little ditty out there on a page and see if anybody needs anything. Well, boy, did they ever. So
That was the beginning of an avalanche.
exactly. So it just honestly, we really kind of fell into it. We realized there truly is a need. We have done work for hundreds of houses already since 2019, talking to homeowners, realtors, property managers, businesses. We've gotten to know business owners down on the Outer Banks just because we're there a lot, and we go into the tropical smoothie place, soup places, restaurants that we like to frequent. So we've just gotten to know a lot of folks there, and people are referring us to other people. So we don't even, I do put a little ad a couple weeks before we're going to go again, but our customers advertise for us. So that's really been a blessing. And it's it really is a win-win. We've had people tell us down there that they don't know what they would do because they live up north, a lot of them, and then they have their beach houses, rentals. They would have to haul all their cushions back up to where they live. They don't know who to find to do what we do. So it's
And
just been a good.
Can I just
good
add, there's been no paid advertising on our end,
Right.
It's all just relationships, face-to-face, talking to people, and personal referrals, which is a huge blessing. We really
Yes.
would have never imagined we'd be in the place we are in our business right now. 5 years ago, if you would have said we would have been doing upholstery, or Mom
Right.
and Clara are the main, they had that up mainly, but we would have not believed you because it was definitely not something our business was into. But it just blew up after that first little post Mom put out, and since then we've met such great people there on the island and have made many friends.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's awesome. It's amazing.
That
It's
is
funny.
awesome. Oh, go ahead.
That's fine. We'll go into restaurants, just like, at the end of the day when we're all exhausted and the waiter will come up to us like, oh, y'all are the sewing ladies. I've seen your ad on Facebook or whatever. So we've made a lot of different connections with, the waitresses and waiters and stuff. So that's been fun.
Yeah.
Because on the island, they really do use like the Facebook and the social media more as like their local newspaper. That's how everybody knows when businesses are open or who's doing what and what's available, all up and down from Corolla all the way down to Hatteras Island. It's about a 2-hour span from the opposite end of the island, and we service people all up and down there. But it's just, it's been a blessing, really. We love it. And I tell everybody the best part for us is meeting the people that we meet. So, and they just say, can we tell our friend? Can we tell our neighbor? I'm like, sure. So we've just been, expanding just by word of mouth, like Martha said. So
I tend to find when you're doing good work, it gets around,
Yes.
like if you help somebody out, they'll be like, hey, my buddy needs help with this, or this family does. So clearly you're doing that. Now, here's a fun
Right.
question, because I love to
Sure.
hear how this happened. Keepers at Home. How'd that name come to be?
To be honest, I know we sat down and talked about a name because, like I said, years ago, it used to be called Jumpers by Janice, just because I was really into jumpers, the homeschooling mom
That's so
thing
cool.
with young kids. Everybody wore jean jumpers and sneakers, but the times had changed and my kids were getting older and we were starting kind of a different business where we were adding other things. And so I think we talked about, if you all remember, we
Yeah.
talked about a business name, what to call it. And we do believe that, it is our God-given right for the older women. I relied on a lot of older women when I was in the trenches with my kids being really young, just giving you that wisdom and insight and just gleaning from the older women that had wisdom. I had friends my own age, but, iron sharpens iron. And I like to talk to the older women, my mother, my grandmother, older ladies from the church and things like that. Because they've been there, they've walked in the shoes before and they've made the mistakes. I want to learn from them. So really, just based on Titus 2:3-5, that the older women are commanded to teach the younger women. So that's really how we got the name, and just decided that would be a good, appropriate name for a mother-daughter business. And so that's pretty much how we came up with the name.
And like she said, as we were getting older, when we're all even older now, just having different responsibilities around the house, even, just taking care of the home in general, and not just sewing, but just all kinds of aspects. So that kind of morphed into that as we were discussing the name. So
I will say kind of a funny thing on a lighter note, because my husband always teases, he says, you're more of a stay in the van mom than a stay at home mom.
You're on the road.
stay on the road. Mom.
Stay on the road mom. Yeah, having our business be called Keepers at Home, and then we just got done telling you we're at the Outer Banks and on the road a lot. But a keeper of your home doesn't mean you have to stay in your house. Even the Proverbs 31 woman was at the gate, doing business and taking care of things in the field and taking care of things for her family or her husband. Doesn't mean you have to sit at home and be barefoot and pregnant constantly. It just, we were always busy, and just you can speak with the enemy at the gates, and you can be out there in the public and be doing things, but still managing your home well. So,
amen. Well, I'm such a fan of homeschool. I call it Homeschool Nation because I was homeschooled. I'm proud of it.
Yes.
Why did you, Janice, decide to homeschool, and what impact has that had on the family as you're all working together?
Well, my husband and I, again, it's evolved kind of like the business. But when we both went to public school, we're both products of public school, like most everybody else. We both went to the same high school, as a matter of fact. Just both of us really for different reasons, but just felt like public school, government school, I'll call it government school now. But there was a lot of wasted time. That was my feeling back in the day. And our reasons for homeschooling have evolved over the years that we've homeschooled our own kids. But in the very beginning, it was mainly just because I was always very sociable. I always enjoyed being in school. I just didn't like the way they taught in school, because everybody doesn't learn the same way. Whoa. I'm a very hands-on, creative mind. Everybody isn't the same. I know that. And even I grew up with 5 siblings. So my siblings didn't learn the same way. So we just had a different, we just didn't want to waste our kids' time, and we didn't want them being indoctrinated. And we just came out in April, this past April, or last April, we just retired from homeschooling, by the way. We've been doing this for 30 years. So I just got finished 30 years of homeschooling all 10 of our children from the beginning to the end. But it's been a long road. But so even back then, 35 years ago, when we first got married, 36 years ago, had our first baby, we just knew that we did not want the government indoctrinating our kids. And it's got, obviously, we all know it's gotten progressively worse, even in the time that we've been raising our children. So just definitely wanted them. We felt like we're not perfect parents by any means. We weren't 30 years ago, and we still aren't today. But we wanted our kids to have our values, not some stranger every year, new teacher, somebody who doesn't even do anything the way we do it. They're not even saved. They don't even have good morals. You're going to get all kinds of crazy lifestyles in the government school. So we just knew it would be better for our kids, even if it's not perfect. We're their parents. We love them and care for our kids more than anybody else in this world. So who better to teach your kids, right? Educate.
Yeah, well, I always believe that a teacher makes or breaks a subject. So
Right.
if you're in a history class, it's all names and dates, and there's nothing interesting, like there's no
Right.
personality, then why would anyone care about Napoleon Bonaparte or George Washington? Or
Right.
these are people like us. But I wanted to go around again and ask each of you, what's one thing you love about Keepers at Home? Like maybe your role in it, or something that's been the most fun experience personally for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's see. I think just being able to make the things that I love. I love linen. And so I've made a lot of articles of clothing for myself out of linen. And that's one of my favorite parts is, I think, just making stuff for fun for myself. And I enjoy making other upholstery items as well. It's fun to learn. I am learning a lot. But just, to be able to make your own things the way you want it. So
Yes, absolutely.
Custom work, custom. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Liberty. Yep, your turn.
One of my favorite things about our business is probably being able to work together and just being able to, we get to know each other even more just working together. And another part of it is just using the gifts that God has given us to be productive and efficient with our time. And you can do that from home, and you can make your own schedule. You can decide what you want to do with your time. And so that's pretty beneficial to our lifestyle. You know, just being involved in politics and just being able to make our own schedule and do it together as a family.
It's really
That's
neat.
probably my
That's
favorite.
co-workers is your family. I mean, I love that.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to say as well, probably just the flexibility that it gives. And of course, I love what we do. I personally am not a seamstress. I tend to barter little other things with my
She's working
sisters,
on
and-
it. She made some
Yeah,
linen
I'm
bread
working
bags
on
for us. So she's working on
But
it.
I do a little bit here and there. I know how to fix my own clothes sometimes. But anyways, my favorite part about our business is really being able to do what I love. I'm starting my own photography business here soon and working on getting my website up and running for that. And so I get to also practice my work for the business as well, as far as photography goes and the media production. It's all stuff that I love to do anyways. So that's a big deal to me because I love what I do for the business as well. But another fun thing aside of the business is we have a YouTube channel, and it's called the Seagulls Vlog, and we vlog our daily life and just fun things that we do as a family. But we also do like behind the scenes videos of what it looks like when we go to the Outer Banks to do that work as well. So yeah, anyways, look us up on YouTube, the Seagulls.
Yeah, I'll be promoting that YouTube channel.
Yeah,
now.
and you'll
Yes.
find all kinds of fun videos. We're trying to be more consistent at that. So again, I love to do all that kind of stuff as well.
So the Sea Gals.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Sea Space Gals, and it'll come up. So
Well, one thing I want to touch on real quick about what you said, which is powerful, is if you love what you're doing, you're not working. And yet
Right.
no,
you
you're
really
not.
are. So the
Right.
more you can do that, here's the problem I find with traditional school is it's all this busy work and you may not be into it. And honestly, I would rather one day when I have kids to challenge them, hey, do what you love and just keep doing it and get better at it. There'll be other
Right.
people who can work with you on other levels. But if you get after it, you can be the best at your craft. I mean, listen, you don't want me building a website. It'd be the worst possible thing you could do. But you can have me
either.
talk about the website and it would
Right.
go great. So anyway, want
Yeah.
to make sure we go all the way around.
Yeah. So all the beautiful pictures you see on our website are all Martha. So
and let me
Great
just
job.
add, if you're passionate about what you do, you'll get other people passionate and on board as well. So that's a big deal as far as starting a business and
Right.
all that.
excitement begets more excitement. So
It sure does.
and I was just want to say something about the family too, whether it's a business or homeschooling. I mean, just what was I going to say? Oh my goodness, I just lost my train of thought. I was just going to say something.
Ruby
but I
can
can't-
go.
Yeah, let Ruby
Yeah, go ahead. You go. I just lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
Well, for me, I like change and just like not being stuck doing one thing. So in our business, I can kind of move around a little bit. Whether I can sew skirts one day and then do pillowcases the next day or whatever. I do a lot of like hair scrunchies and stuff like that. So I get to move around a little bit, and yeah, I love just working with my sisters, my mom. I love just being right beside them at the sewing machines, just chit chatting. So
And laughing. There's
Yeah.
a lot of laughing.
A lot of laughing. That's
Sure.
true.
Yeah, so it's fun just being home, and like a couple of them already said, just the flexibility. That kind of goes with homeschooling too. I love that part of homeschooling and having your own business. Just that entrepreneur mindset. So
Yeah.
One
Go ahead.
thing I was just going to add to what Liberty said about being on your own time and being able to be flexible like that. It is different than going and working for someone else, because you have to go by their schedule and their time slots and stuff. But by being your own like employer, just having our own business here, it makes it almost harder to be more diligent with your time and being conscientious about how you're spending every minute and every hour, and just, if you're not working, you're not making anything either. So,
Right.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know what I was going to say about just family and business and homeschooling is just that your family is your first community that you will ever work with. Just and especially in a family our size, there's so many different family members and everybody is unique. Everybody's different. Everybody has different talents. Everybody has different gifts. Everybody has different personality types. So you have to, good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, sometimes you have to just learn to get along with lots of different people groups. And when you can do that within your family, the confines of your family every day and working with them, it just helps you realize when you go out, when you're working with politics or when you're going to church or when you're working with people in the community, everybody isn't going to see things exactly the way you do or do things the way you do. So it is the very first community that you will ever be a part of. So
Yeah.
that's always a plus, you know.
Now,
Yeah.
because this is a conversation, again, I don't have question number 9. I don't do it.
Oh,
that
that's
way.
okay.
I just
That's
talk.
okay.
So for you ladies, let me ask you this. When you meet people your own age and they're like, why are you doing that? How do you combat stuff about like being entrepreneurs at your age? Or have you found that? Have people been mostly like, that's amazing, I want to be like you? Give me a feel for that.
Yes, everybody wants to be like us.
Good answer.
Yeah, we do run into it occasionally. Some younger folks, it is kind of rare for
Yeah,
younger
that's what I'm saying.
ladies like us to be,
It's not popular,
yeah.
which we've never been popular as our family, so that's fine. Nothing new.
But but as soon as we start, explaining what we do, they are intrigued by it, and it's great to be able to share like other options for people, and we open up, other people's mindsets of thinking, how can they think outside the box and doing something else that maybe they would love to do, and they just feel like they're in a rut, going to work every day at another job. So yeah, there are opportunities, and we do share and try to be an encouragement to other young people.
Yeah, I don't want to say this in a prideful way, but I think sometimes people can kind of maybe get jealous of the fact that we're so flexible or something. And, honestly, I just try to like encourage them to find something that they're good at. And, you can make money and be busy off stuff that, again, like I said earlier, that you're passionate about. And you don't have to work a 9-to-5 job to be busy or to be successful, and a lot of people think, that that's the only option a lot of times. So we do run into a lot of kids who they're either going to college, which none of us have been. There's nothing against it, but we've just chosen a different route. And, you don't have to go the way that, maybe the world tells you to go. It may not be bad, but there's other ways to be successful. So.
I have an alternative name for you all. I think it should be also keepers at home and entrepreneurs at home.
Yes, exactly.
Doing,
Right.
And I think what's really cool about, just from my perspective as an outsider looking in, is each of you are learning what it means to be an entrepreneur at an early age. So you're going to be able to take what you learned and apply it to whatever business you eventually want to do, right? I mean, Janice, does that excite you?
Yes, that's the vision that my husband and I have. We want them to be able to take any skills, even for my boys too, any skills that they've learned here, take them into the next home. I mean, we learned this a long, long time ago in some parenting classes that we went to, that to make the realization that your kids are going to be married and outside, or Lord willing, or outside the home a lot longer than they are in the home. So this is just the preliminary, getting them ready for the rest of their life. So that is our prayer, that they would take the skills that they've learned and all kinds of other things out into their own home that they're going to establish someday.
And really, it's not us, like it is God, and all glory goes to him, because he's given us great parents, I think. And, just opened so many doors that, like I was saying earlier, we would have never thought could be opened or would be opened. And so just having the opportunities we have to be involved in so many different things politically, and just as far as other social activities go and stuff, and business. Yeah, it's all glory goes to God for opening those doors. So.
And if you're willing to learn, something, a trade or something that you're not used to or haven't even known before, we've been taught this also, like just be willing to learn and just to soak up all you can, because the more willing you are to learn, the higher you'll be promoted, even to be in higher positions, even though you may not know what to do in the first place, but you're going to learn. And just having that open mindset to do that, it'll take you farther than you expected. So,
and it doesn't have to be your favorite thing, but like you said, just being willing, and you get a lot more experience that way. Just you get to experience different stuff like that, different areas. So
go ahead. I was just going to say, even when they were real little, part of their training was to obey their parents, and we're trying to do a little bit of obedience training with our grandchildren now. But just when we call their name, they need to come right away. Right away, we used to call it right away, all the way, the happy way. Delayed obedience is disobedience if you don't come right away, and just learning to come and be happy about it. You might not be happy inside, and that's true even in adult life, but you have to have a good attitude about doing a job that's in front of you, a task at hand, even if you don't care for it. We have to do a lot of things in life, even that we don't care for. So even when they were very little, just that kind of training to come right away, do the job all the way, whatever mom and dad have asked you to do, and do it the happy way. But I'm not happy, I don't feel happy or whatever. But just learning to do that early on is very beneficial, even in older years. You may not like a task that you've been given, but we need to do it anyway and have a good attitude.
Let me ask you this, because I think this would be really beneficial for people to hear. What was the toughest time you had as a business, as a family, and how did you overcome to get to where you are now?
Wow.
Boy, toughest time.
During
Over
COVID.
2,000 masks.
Oh, yes.
We so
That
Okay.
would be an
Yeah.
easy one.
So I don't think I've sewn more masks in my life than 2020.
I
but-
don't think I've sewed more in my life than during 2020.
I wouldn't
Okay.
say that was a rough spot. I mean, it was
No.
successful as far as our business goes, but I would say more challenging, which I don't know if that would answer your question exactly, but it was very challenging.
Yeah, well, let's just say we weren't ready for it, as I think the whole
Yeah.
world can say.
wasn't
Nobody
ready.
was ready in any aspect of it. And now this is my little disclaimer, because of course we're against masks, but
Yep.
honestly, we were just asked by my two nieces who lived in Pennsylvania, a friend down here when it all came out and started. Hey, could you help me make masks for a nursing home, just to give them? So that, and my friend who's a seamstress as well, she just wanted help. So we said, sure, we'll help. We made, I don't know, 200 or 300, I guess, at that point. And then my nieces in Pennsylvania who work for hospitals asked if we would make them. So we started making giveaway. And then same thing with like the Outer Banks. We just started thinking, oh, I wonder if anybody else
Sure.
would need a mask. So let's put it on our shop. Boy, did that open the floodgates.
I'm sure it
And
did.
Unreal.
by the time it was all said and done, I think we made over 5,000 masks, which is,
Wow.
now when I look back, I think, what in the world were we thinking? But it just, and it literally, I remember saying to the girls many times, I said, girls, this is what a full-time job looks like. I mean, I was literally in the desk printing all the shipping labels. We had an assembly line. Two of the girls were cutting strips of fabric for masks. Others were at the sewing machines, and we were busy day and night. With
He wouldn't let us go to
boxes.
bed before
No,
12
it
o'clock.
was
So.
drill sergeant. We had so much to do.
like a
Yeah,
not a 9 to
all hands on deck,
9 to
right?
9.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. So that was,
Like, we're getting up at 6, we're going to bed not before 12.
so if there was any kind of like, that was maybe a hurdle in our business that we
Yeah.
had to kind of like, wow, take the challenge and do what needed to be done. And so we'll never forget that time period.
Well,
Kind of
and the
crazy.
position of Businesses for Liberty is that we are medical freedom. So if you
Right.
want to wear one, you could have at any point. And if
Absolutely.
you don't want to wear it, we're not being, mandate either way. I think
Right.
it's terrible when people attack people for wearing a mask, or if they
Exactly.
go after people for not wearing one.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's move to a happier subject.
Sure, absolutely.
What was the most rewarding moment for you as a family doing this? Is there any kind of like customer you work with and you're like, that is why we do this?
Carolyn, that's what I was gonna say.
Our good old friend Carolyn from the Outer Banks. The most rewarding part, I guess, is just that we get to do what we love, truly love, as you've heard from the girls too, where we love. I mean, we sew at home too, and we have lots of things that we put out on our shop, but that really is a blessing. And I know we've said a couple times here, just that who would have ever thought that we'd get to do what we love and be able to go to the beach like multiple times a year and meet so many great people. That never really entered our mind 5-6 years ago. We never thought we would be doing this. So that's been just a blessing. And yeah, I mean, we think of one or two customers that are, somewhat favorites of ours, but really,
Our golden customers.
yeah, our golden, they have gold cards with us, but
I need to get a gold
returning-
card. I need to do enough business with the old. I want
Yes.
the gold card.
people that just keep calling us back. I mean, this woman that we're talking about has a 10-bedroom house on the Outer Banks. So she has multiple rooms that she
Wow.
needs us to do
Wow.
work for. But they're all great. I mean, we've met a lot of really, really nice people. So I don't want to,
And we've
single out
made
anybody.
longtime friends through this
Yeah.
process of our business. And yeah, those are rewards that you'll never lose.
Right.
They're lifetime friends that we've met, and just great people, meeting and doing work with different businesses who are patriots as well is just great. So
Yes.
love that.
Just
Now, here's a
seeing
big
the-
question for me is, this is important to me to hear this answer, actually. Janice, and maybe you can all answer this. Why did you decide to join Businesses for Liberty? What do you think about the movement that we have to, build all these businesses that are liberty minded together?
Oh, sure.
Because of you, Eric.
Yes, yes.
Great answer.
Yes, I told you earlier, excitement begets more excitement.
passion.
Yes. And when we met you, I think the first time we met you was probably at the Rock the Red, I
Rock the
think.
Red,
I think that was
yeah.
the first time we met you. I think maybe I had heard of you before then, but that's when we met you in person. And, honestly, I have always really liked buying American. Now, of course, everybody gets caught up in we just need things cheap and fast and whatever. So we shop at the big box stores. But I think I mentioned the other day when I talked to you, for me personally, I really haven't stepped in a Walmart in like 2 years. So I just don't like to shop there, and I have to reevaluate where I buy things and if I even need it. If that's the only place I could ever find whatever it is I'm looking for, if it has to be at a big box store or Walmart or whatever, then I think, do I really need it? I mean, I can do without it probably. So, and a lot of times that has been the case. I'm just like, oh, I just don't need whatever it is I'm looking for. So I really just want to shop with, American made businesses as much as humanly possible. I realize there are some things that just for whatever reason with the companies, everything's being made overseas. And so some of us, we're all in the same boat. Sometimes you just have no choice, but as much as possible, I like to shop with American companies and try to promote that. And for the most part, if you look and just spend a little extra time looking, you can find companies that are making things that you need, you and your family need, that are made right here in the United States. So,
And if I can answer for myself, honestly, your passion just
Wow.
made me think of what do I believe? Like, what do I really want to support? And, that made me start thinking about, where am I spending my money? Am I really supporting, like we were talking about earlier, the freedoms that we enjoy and having the freedom to have our own businesses? And, I want people to support our small business. And so I want to do the same for other people who are passionate about all kinds of things and different things and the talents. Oh my word, God has blessed us with so many talents, and different one of his children have so many talents that they've been blessed with, and they're using those to be producers instead of consumers. And so I just want to put my money where where those people are. So
sure, we want to be good stewards with our money too. God gives us the money that we have to spend. I want to be a good steward with it. So,
well, it's beyond encouraging. I appreciate that answer too. You're right. If you believe in something, that passion will be there.
Right.
If you genuinely believe it, people can feel if that's real or not. And I think this world, especially my age, I'm 33 and younger, they crave authenticity. They're tired of the squeaky clean looking perfect, and it's not
Right.
real. Like there's nothing
Right.
to it. Right. So
Right.
let me ask you this question. Janice, what's your message to other moms out there who are thinking about doing what you've just done over these years, homeschooling and starting a business at home? Like, what if they're like, I can't do it. I don't have the credentials. I can't do what Janice did. What do you say to them?
Well, I think honestly, I mean, I'm nobody special. I'm really not. I'm everybody, like Martha was saying, everybody has gifts and talents. I've had lots of people say that to me. I'm not good at anything. I said, oh, yes, you are. You may not have found it yet. You may not realize what it is that you're good at. And if I know them well enough, sometimes I can point out things that I see that they're good at. And, but if I don't know them very well, you might just have to think about it and look a little harder and look deeper, things that you can do. But, first of all, as far as never mind a business right off the bat, if that's not, but your children are yours. They're God's, really. They've been given to you by God. Yeah. Whether you're a believer or not, that's who gave them to you. And you have a responsibility to raise them. So it isn't anybody else's. It isn't the school district. It isn't the church. It isn't your neighbor's job to raise your children. It's your job. It's your responsibility. And that comes with, that's just your education and your, what do I want to say, like curriculum and things like that too, but just character training. Kind of what I was saying earlier. I mean, even years ago, I remember doing schooling and having maybe a bad time with probably this one, but no, I'm just kidding. One of the kids like having a bad week or something with one of the children, and I'd call my husband. I'd say, oh, they just having a bad attitude. They're not doing their math. Call them at work having a little struggle, and he'd say, you know what? If their character isn't good, he goes, I don't care if they do math or science the entire rest of the week. Work on their character, because the character is what matters.
Oh.
And so you can work on that alone and just forget math and forget science for this week or this month if necessary. And depending on over the 30 years, that's been important. And nobody else, I don't care how good your school is or how good your church Sunday school is, nobody's going to do that with your children like you are. And so I would just encourage moms to stay home. Well, I can't afford it. You can afford it. My husband's a nurse. He's not a doctor. He's a nurse, and we raised 10 children. And me being at home, I have never gone outside my home to work. I found other things, other avenues, because if it's important to you, you'll do it. You'll find a way. Everybody will find a way. So, people will say that. I've heard that many, many times. If I had $1 for every time somebody said that to me, well, we need both of our incomes, and they have 2 or 4 kids or whatever the Lord's given them. But you can do it if you put your mind to it, and you'll be much more creative in how you buy groceries, where you buy groceries, how you buy shoes, what you clothe your children with, all the things that your family needs. You get much more creative, and like we have echoed here, you'll think outside the box. You're not going to do things like every other family. That's been our family's mantra for a long time. So I would just encourage you to realize that your children are given to you by God. They're your responsibility and no one else's. So that's important. And, a side job, a little side hustle, or finding something that you like that could bring in income is fun. And of course we're doing it, but that's secondary, because even if I'd never had another job or something else to bring in money, I'd still be here raising my own children. So.
Man, powerful answer. Well, I hope every parent watching, I hope you're encouraged by that, because Janice, you are a light to a lot of parents too. And each of you're a light to everyone your age. I mean, we don't even know who's watching. That's what gets me, is I get some of those messages like, I've been watching you for 7 months and I have been I'm like, blown away. And the truth of it is, like, we are, we don't know who's watching. We know the Lord is watching, and we know that every decision we make has an impact. And I every time bring out this wallet, every decision we make, we're voting with our dollars. So every dollar, listen to me, folks, every dollar that goes to Keepers at Home is not going to woke, is not going to globalists, it's not going to the agenda that's tearing down this flag in this country. So how can people reach you? What's all the areas?
It's going to feed these faces. They have to eat sometimes.
That's right. Supporting a family.
Yes. Okay, so you can reach us at keepersathomeboutique.com. That's our shop. You can reach us on Facebook at Keepers at Home. We are on Instagram, Keepers at Home. The Sea Gals, the Sea dash space Gals.
I'll be
on
checking
YouTube,
that out later. Yes.
On YouTube, and anywhere else. Where else can they find us?
No,
I think that's it. That's it. That's
Facebook, Instagram, and our website. So.
Yep. And you can
you can
give us a call too.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. My phone number is, my business number is 484-515-6950. If we can help you with clothing, customized alterations, we do local alterations, and then any kind of outside, indoor slip covers, cushion covers, bench covers, things like that. What's that? Oh, yeah. Okay. Keepers at Home 10 at yahoo.com is our email as well. So
wonderful. So if I'm in Arizona, I can do business with you?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Oh, yeah. We ship all over the place.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing. That is so great.
And we might even come visit too. I was just in Phoenix right before Christmas.
There you go. Yeah. You just brought on an
hand
author.
deliver it.
We just brought on an author who joined today. I'll be talking about her, Donna Johnson, amazing, world-renowned author, and God bless her. She is standing for liberty, and her business has suffered as a result of standing for this. And I'm just so thankful for her. But listen, folks, I just want you to know this. I am so proud that when I vet these folks, whichever business I've promoted, that they are pro-life, pro-liberty, pro-history, pro-Second Amendment, and America first. In the Harris family, you definitely are. And listen, I want to say something about Mr. Harris. He is fighting in the darkest. I put Hollywood and politics right almost side by side. So thank God for Robert, what he's doing in fighting
Thank you.
for liberty in the State House. And listen, if you are interested in purchasing for liberty, look no further than Keepers at Home and the awesome
Thank-
Harris family in
Thank
the
you.
upstate of South Carolina. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Harris family,
Yes.
for being
Thank you
with
so
me.
much, Eric.
God
Thank
bless you
you.
all.
Thanks for the interview.